South Africa, and a very warm welcome to you. This is another lockdown edition of Afternoon Express. Now, you can pinch yourself if you want to, but yes, you're not dreaming. I'm with you, Palisa Dembe, and I'll be giving you incredible content from our loft for an entire hour. Now, I've got another inspiring show lined up with celeb interviews, recipe ideas, and also valuable advice relating to these tough times. Now, you can connect with us on our social media platforms. You can tweet us at Afternoon Chat using our hashtag Afternoon Express, or comment on our Facebook page. We are dying to hear from you. How excited are you to have us back on air? And also, how have you rather been keeping busy during this lockdown period? So first up today, South African cricketer and former Proteas captain Faf du Plessis recently turned to Instagram to announce that his wife, Emery, is pregnant with their second child. Now, Faf is one of South Africa's most loved sports stars, and he joins us now from his home. Hi, Faf.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for letting us into your home.
It's a pleasure to be on your new show that's from lockdown straight to my home.
I know, I couldn't have thought of a better idea, but Faf, I'd be remiss to not say congratulations. I mean, baby number 2 is on her way. How are you feeling about it, and how have you been, keeping up with a pregnant wife during this lockdown time?
Yeah, I'm a massive, obviously, fan for having a little daughter again. I'll be very happy just to have a just female house. I love being all the girls in the house. So extremely excited for number 2. We've kept it quiet for most of the time, but now it's getting to that stage where my wife is struggling to hide the fact that she's pregnant. So she felt it was the right time to get it out there. But yeah, spending time in lockdown with a pregnant wife, it's amazing.
Oh, amazing. I like to hear that. That is a man after my own heart. Taking care of home is something that is so truly important. And we see you radiating, being so happy along with the family. I mean, we've even seen you take to Instagram and show how you've been keeping handy in the kitchen. I mean, what else have you and your family been busy doing during lockdown?
Yeah, normally I'm quite private when it comes to social media, and because we spend so much time in the limelight, I'm normally a guy that enjoys the privacy. But life has changed as we know it. We've spent, like you and all of us, we spend a lot of time in our homes. So I've had my privacy, and now I'm bored at home, so I want to do some stuff. So I thought, what not better to do than show off some skills in the kitchen. I've always enjoyed cooking, and no better way to enjoy a Cape Town winter than with cooking and a glass of red wine.
Absolutely. I think the power of social media here has shown its strength, because I feel like I'm so familiar with everyone's household. It's as if your kitchen is my kitchen and your lounge is my lounge, and I love that. I love the unity that this lockdown period has just encouraged us to take on. Now, I also know that you've been keeping busy reaching out to those in need during these trying times. So tell me more about how you've been doing, or rather what you've been doing to help the less fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it was I think it was one evening I was watching social media, and there was this video of this lady that was just so joyful in a township, and she was just so happy and so content with life, and she had nothing, and it really moved inside my heart, and I was like, I need to do more. I need to get off my bum and actually contribute to helping people out there, because people are in huge need. So it started with me just using my platform to glorify people like that and to show how amazing they are, and almost like telling them that they inspire me, even though they think that they don't. And then it organically grew in me wanting to help a little bit more. Someone reached out to me on Instagram saying that their community are struggling for food. No one's got work, so there were 174 people in the community and they need food. So I was like, okay, it's time for me to jump in. And we worked out it was going to cost 17,000 Rand to feed the whole community for a month. So we thought that was a realistic goal. Just went to social media and I was like, guys, I'm doing this. Whoever wants to help out. If you want to, you don't have to. And people were so generous. And like, I think people relate to, as South Africans, we want to help. You know, it's tough for all of us, but we want to help. So Yeah, that's how it started. We fed the whole family for a month, and then we had extra money from the people that donated. Then we donated that money to a charity called Felissa Abafazi is her name. She feeds normally 1,500 kids a day. So now with the COVID-19, it's gone up to 3,000. So I was like, man, I'm a dad. I want to help out. So we ended up giving her close to 20,000 Rand just to feed them for the rest of the month. So it's just organically grown. Like I haven't gone out there trying to do this,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like never been a thing of look at me. But I think what's happening now is more people want to get involved. So
Yeah.
I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going and try and help as many people as I can. There's a lot of people that are doing it. You know, I'm good friends with Sia as well, and he's doing amazing things through his foundation. Yeah, we're going to be doing something soon together, so I'm excited about that as well.
Oh my goodness, Faf, you have to come to Afternoon Express when you and Sia collaborate to bring the community joy as you are doing. And I know that this kind of gives you a good feeling, you know, that feel-good spirit when you give to other people. And I want to pay that forward and have the rest of South Africans get involved. So how can they get stuck in with this initiative?
Yeah, so initially, I mean, as I said, I just started from a warm place in my heart. So I didn't have a non-profit organization and a charity and a foundation for my name. So I'm just a real amateur at helping people. So I'm just going about this as Joe Average goes about it. So what I will be doing is I will be getting some help from people to organize a structure so it can go into real organizations. But for now, all I can say is just watch out the space. People has been offering very generously, but I'm in the process now of rolling it out to a bigger scale that will be a bit more like a full-on organization. But yeah, the next project is going to be with the Sia Foundation, Sia Kolisi Foundation. So yeah, if you want to donate to them, they're very generous. They're helping me out on this next project. So very cool.
I love hearing that, and all that information will be available on the Afternoon Express website if you do want to put your little contribution to the pot of gold that Faf is creating. Now, Faf, the entire world and all industries have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. What effect has this had in the sports industry? I mean, and when will players finally return to the sports field?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, sport there's no sport happening around the world. So, you know, I'm no different to any other person sitting in an office or at home, you know, stressing about what's happening in the future. So this time has really been for me just to take my attention away from stuff that I can't control. You know, I don't know when we're going to play again. So now it's about staying as fit as I can possibly be. And also really seeing the positives in what we have in front of us. So I get to spend time with my family. I get to help out washing the dishes, which I absolutely love, not. And
Honesty is the best policy.
I'd be alone at home now because I'd be in the IPL. So yeah, just seeing the positives and then getting through it stronger when we get to the other side.
Beautiful. We all want to share in the strength that you have. So what message of hope do you have for people during these very uncertain and unsettling times?
Yeah, I think it's really important that you stay positive. You know, the news is the news, and a lot of people watch the news as they would like. But what I'm doing, I can only speak for myself, is I'm trying to stay away from negativity, not to cloud my mind full of that. So, feed myself with positive people around me, positive messages, and help other people. I think one gets a lot of encouragement just to see when you do something for other people, how it actually makes you feel better. So I would encourage people to really take their attention away from themselves in this season that we are in.
Yeah, beautiful words. I couldn't have said it better myself. Now, Faf, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. And I'm wishing you and your family all the best. And, of course, good luck with the pregnancy.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Siyabonga Mdeni Du Plessis. Now, after the break, we turn our attention to the increase in domestic abuse and gender-based violence, which we have seen arise during the lockdown period. Now, this is a very sensitive topic and very unsettling. So we do need you to connect with us on social media and let us know your thoughts. But for now, see you after these.
Try the new Tropica Piña Colada. Smooth.
Welcome back to the special lockdown edition of Afternoon Express. Now, while the lockdown has reaped many benefits for our society, one of the downsides has to be the increase in domestic and gender-based violence. We're joined today by psychologist Dr. Thembelihle Dube to shed some light on this topic and, of course, reach out to those who feel vulnerable. Welcome to The Love, Dr. Dube. Hello, Doctor.
Good
Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, yes, I can.
Lovely to see you. It seems like we've got a bit of a long delay, but no worries. I'm just going to get stuck in here. I mean, we have seen over 2,000 cases of gender-based violence has been reported only the first week of the national lockdown. And now, this is of great concern, I have to say. What is going through one's mind who commit these acts of rage and fury? And why are we seeing an increase of this during this national lockdown?
I think, Palisa, there are a number of factors that are at play. So there are three key issues that I'd like us to just bear in mind. So you've got this COVID-19 epidemic and the way that it's impacting on us. And then there's issues around power and control. So let's begin with the issues around the coronavirus and the way that it's been impacting all of us. Now, on many levels, at the structural level, you find that some organizations are going to actually flounder on account of the impact of the COVID-19. So lots of stresses around the kind of economic impact it's going to have, the impact that it's going to have on businesses, the impact then it's going to have on people and jobs. Many people may lose work on account of this situation that we find ourselves living in. So that's at the structural level, so the economic impact. Then you've got a situation where we found ourselves going into a lockdown situation as a way of protecting society. But now in that container, that home container, you find that there's also now stresses of, if people are living with children, the stresses of being at home, the stresses of being at home without finances, the stresses of being at home, having to do and run a household, but also having to engage with your partner for extended periods of time without your regular devices to actually manage, which is probably drugs. Some people may be using alcohol. Some people may be using tobacco. You don't have your normal tools to self-regulate. Some people would go and hang out with friends. You don't have that at your disposal. Then there's also the layer where all the things that were kind of inside, all the angst that one has been sitting with for extended periods of time or has not wanted to deal with is now coming to the fore. So all this stuff then comes to is really brought up, and often a lot of people have no way of negotiating the internal angst and all these factors that may be coming to play. So a person that hasn't really been able to self-regulate, manage their own stuff internally, and often you find that this issue of power, now in order to kind of be able to almost get some sort of control, because all these factors brought on by COVID-19 and the circumstances render you feeling vulnerable and powerless and out of control to some extent. So now what then do you do because there's no capacity to be able to almost address and deal with conflict in a constructive way, people then often resort to these unconstructive ways of trying to control and make sense of situations because there's a struggle, there's an internal struggle to grapple with those feelings of powerlessness. So these are some of the things that are coming into play that often explode into violence in the home because of the sense of powerlessness that then leads to violence, because often individuals, when feeling powerless and without constructive ways of kind of dealing with conflict, then would tend to violence to be able to then resolve that particular conflict.
Dr. Dube, we're seeing a lot of variables at play here. We're seeing power struggles. We're seeing people battling, not knowing how to resurface after a depression, after feeling angst and needing a release. And thank you so much for breaking down those different ideas, because I'm sure it's clicking in so many of our viewers' heads right now that, hey, this might be what I'm going through. And knowing the problem, you can then turn it into a solution and something valuable. I mean, do you have any words for people right now who are struggling with these variables and struggling with these ups and downs and not knowing how to maneuver?
You know, more than anything else, I think it's going to be very important for, firstly, people to acknowledge that we are living in a situation where things are uncertain, right? There's a lot of uncertainty, and no one has the answers. We don't have a sense for when this will come to an end. It's an evolving phenomenon, and we all are grappling with this particular challenge and trying to understand that there's some things that are not going to be in your control, and being able to kind of begin to isolate what exactly is within my control, right? What is within my control is I may not be able to determine as to when this COVID situation will come to an end. I may not be in a position to determine whether or not I have my job or not, or when I get a job in the event that I've lost my job. But what I can do is I'm able to put a structure together around how I actually make sense of each day. Two, how then can I put structure for the day where I'm able to get up, exercise, which is vital to make sure that you are active, to make sure that, and you're trying your best to then look at what is within my sphere of influence and how can I manage that which is within my control. And if some of the emotional pain that one is experiencing becomes too much, to then seek help. What I've appreciated is that there are a number of organizations that are offering services, counseling services, especially in the case of gender-based violence. You have the Department of Social Development has this gender-based violence line. It's a powerful space where the Department of Social Development has social workers who are there 24 hours to take calls from any women that may actually, or not any, from any individual that may be, dealing with gender-based violence, and they're able to give them guidance and support them. But for people to reach out when they feel that it's too overwhelming, to not feel like they have to suffer in silence. But also, I think what's crucial as well, Palesa, in the particular homestead, is to be able to communicate. I think partners or families need to be able to sit down and actually converse around how do we negotiate this situation? How can we work together as a unit? And often this is not something that happens. There's an expectation that things will just somehow unfold and come together. But that's not necessarily going to be the case. You're going to need to sit down and say, who does what, when, and how.
It looks like it has to do with a lot of communication, understanding, and cutting each other some slack and giving people the benefit of the doubt. I do encourage all of our viewers right now who are feeling vulnerable during this time to head over to our Afternoon Express websites and social media pages. We'll have all the information there for you as how you can get help, how you can seek refuge, and of course, stay safe during this time. Thank you so much, Dr. Dube. You have helped so many South Africans just by being you and taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us about this very sensitive and uneasy topic. Siyabonga.
Indeed. I'm glad I could be of assistance, Palesa.
Siyabonga. Now, after the break, we know that financial stresses is one of the biggest issues that many of us face during the lockdown. And after the break, we get an expert's opinion as to how we can navigate these tough times. See you after the break.
Find your smooth fortune with Tropica. Buy a Tropica, follow the entry details on the pack, and stand a chance to win your share of 1 million rand in prizes, such as a trip for two with KLM to Amsterdam, LG G8X cell phones, LG TVs and dishwashers, guest vouchers, guest watches and accessories, plus the smooth grand prize of a Suzuki Ignis. The more Tropica you buy, the more chances you have to win. Tropica, nothing smoother.
thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon on Afternoon Express. Now, during these tough times, many of us are feeling the pressure of financial stress from mounting bills, reduced incomes and job uncertainty. Here to give us some insights on these grey area is financial fitness bunny, Nicolette Mashile, a good friend of the show. Nicolette, how are you doing, Siswam?
I'm good, and how are you, Palisa?
I'm fantastic. I'm feeling healthy. I'm feeling good to be back on air. But more importantly, above and beyond people's health, what people are really struggling with right now is the ching-ching, honey. I mean, a large amount of people right now are trying to make ends meet with less to no income. As a result of the national lockdown now, people are not able to pay their mortgages, rent, or even car payments. So what's the right thing to do in such an instance? And when is the right time to seek help?
I think, Palisa, probably one of the most important things right now is not to panic, because help is out there. Because panicking is not necessarily going to get you to make the right financial decisions that are going to count in the near future. So I think one of the most important things, and I think we've been speaking about it throughout the lockdown, is do not panic, go and speak to your creditors. I think one of the biggest issues that people are kind of stressed about right now is generally always associated with their debt, because if you are getting a salary cut, if you are getting unpaid leave, if perhaps you are becoming retrenched, one of the things that's going to happen to you is that you are going to be unable to commit to your credit agreement. So speak to your creditors. I think, you know, we creditors don't want to come and find us. Debt collection is actually very expensive for a lot of creditors. So they do want you to speak to them. They do want you to pay. They do want to find ways in which they can create some sort of arrangement with you so that you are able to pay. And then I think it's also important to remember that there are options. You know, some of the banks have come out with the payment holiday. Of course, we must, though, point out that the payment holiday is nothing new. It's always been there. It's just that it was, of course, on a case-by-case basis, right? So the payment holiday is available. I know some of the banks have also come out with what they're calling the cash flow relief plan, where you're not necessarily taking a payment holiday, but you are actually taking up another loan with its own terms and conditions, usually more stringent than the original loan. And because we've seen the interest rate being cut, it means that obviously those rates that you might be given will be much lower than the loan that you're trying to pay off. So now you are able to actually pay your actual loan during the month, but then service the new loan maybe on a lesser or a shorter term. And then, of course, if there is credit life insurance, go and speak to your creditors, find out if you do have credit life insurance and what the terms and conditions are in terms of paying or having that credit life insurance stepping in. And then I think, Palisa, probably one of the most important things that we don't speak enough about is having your own emergency savings. Guys, we've been preaching this for how long now? It is so important to have financial reserves, because where there is no insurance policy, your own money would be able to step in and help you.
Absolutely. I think here what's key, Nicolette, is knowing your options. I had no clue that half of what you have just addressed is something that's out there, something that people want, something that people need. And of course, you are here shedding that very, very valuable light. Now, people are also working from home, Nicolette, and others are not being able to work at all. There's a lot of time spent at home. That results in increased food consumption. I know I'm guilty. So what are the ways that we can reduce large expenses on food?
Look, I think one of the most important things, let's just park food for a minute on the side, is also your policies, you know, your insurance policies. Remember, insurance covers you for a potential loss. If the loss or the risk of that potential loss has been dramatically reduced, like taking you off the road and your car is actually parked, one of the things that you can potentially go and look at is having a conversation with your insurers and asking them, how do we mitigate you paying a lesser insurance premium while your car is actually parked at home? And then I think also there's several ways in which you can be really creative around the house to try and keep those costs low. Definitely recreation on your budget should be low this month, and then you should be allocating that money to perhaps adding on into an additional payment into a debt, or potentially putting into your emergency fund and supplementing your income. I think right now it is the right time for a lot of us to really have an eagle's eye on our finances, because as you rightfully say, Palisa, while you are at home, every 5 minutes the fridge is calling you. You know, you gotta eat something. You gotta pop something into your mouth.
Yeah.
So I think one of the other ways to try and mitigate for those kind of things is creating a routine, sticking to a routine, making sure that you are eating when you are supposed to be eating, and then keeping busy throughout the day, having those activities that are going to fill in those gaps. Because when we have gaps, that's when we rush to the kitchen and we rush to the fridge. So I think that's also something that you can look at. But probably also stop buying the most expensive brand in the shop, guys.
Hey, oh,
Like,
Ashley Nicolette. Hey, you're attacking me right now. I feel attacked.
food is food, okay? It's
Okay.
not, you know, yes, you want to have a you know, a better quality steak, but steak is steak, man. It's about your cooking. How well are you actually cooking the steak? So I think right now is the right time for you to shop around in terms of where you are buying, you know?
Oh, I mean, Nicolette, you've already touched on this very briefly. I mean, bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. A whole lot of people right now are complaining on social media that there's nothing to do. Now, this could result in an excess amount of internet usage, airtime and data. I mean, hashtag data must fall. So is there an economical way to manage this?
Look, I think one of probably the most important things that you should be doing right now is finding a way to make your data usage productive. The problem is that we are sitting on the internet, we're going on these lives, we're just having unnecessary chat. You know, we not only just exhausting ourselves, but we're exhausting the data bill, right? So I think it's really, really important right now that if you don't want to feel guilty about your data usage, make sure that you're using it productively. If you're not going to be using it to upskill yourself, to better yourself, to make yourself a better asset, perhaps maybe then try and see if there's a way in which you can use that data to be able to make some money. There's many people that when the lockdown started, reached out to their own companies, reached out to smaller companies and said, how do we help you guys become more digital? People are managing social media channels of different brands. So I just think, you know, sometimes, yes, we want to take this lockdown period to rest and take in, you know, our lives and really just slow things down. But because we do get bored, we then end up sitting on the internet. The question is, what are you consuming on the internet? Because that will really make you feel less guilty for spending so much data. Then perhaps maybe once those the telecoms, what do they call them? The network internet network companies are open. I think it's on level 3. Have a conversation and start looking at your data usage and say, what is the most effective way? Many people find themselves using an actual cell phone data, which is far more expensive than getting fiber and getting Wi-Fi, right? A package deal might be more useful for you than buying data every 2 days, because when you buy data every 2 days, it's the same thing of when we say to you, stop pouring 100 Rand petrol, because it really just doesn't work. Rather, a full tank.
Amen.
So it's almost similar to that.
Amen. Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head right there. But one thing that I'm finding throughout this entire conversation is communication is key. Reach out, tell your story, and let people know that you're struggling and seek the help that is needed. Now, if someone suspects that they might be unemployed in the near future, I mean, what should they have in place? You spoke already about an emergency fund. I mean, do they automatically qualify to claim the unemployment insurance fund?
Look, I think so the only way you're going to be able to claim from UIF is if you were contributing to UIF. I'm finding a lot of people thinking that is a viable option, but when they go back to look on their salary slip, they do find out that their company was not contributing to UIF. So I think once you actually have gone back to your HR to ask, read your payslip, guys. People don't read their payslips. It really just scares me that people don't know what's happening on their payslip. Read your payslip. You will be able to understand there or to see that you are contributing to UIF. And then that is obviously a viable option for you to go and go and claim from UIF. But it's also important for you to make sure that, and I've seen it a lot, people who have credit cards often do have a retrenchment cover that they don't know about. You know, we sit with most of these financial products. We don't actually know them because we've never bothered to read the policy documents or the agreements. Some people do get covered, you know, by credit cards. Some people do get covered by their income projector. They might have a retrenchment benefit to it. So I think this is the right time for you to do what I call a reflectionary financial audit on your life and look at the gaps that you've got and say, if this is the scenario, what do I have to be able to cover myself? Some of them are DIY insurance policies that we've got to create by ourselves because the financial sector has not created that insurance. Something like black tax. You know, the reality is that if you are if you've been paying black tax, it's probably going to get even worse now because the people that you're probably paying black tax to are probably the people that will lose their job or have a higher chance of losing their income, or their income has been stopped because they are in those jobs where it's a no job, no pay situation. So it means that your black tax might even be doubling right now. So those are some of the things that I think as people we need to make sure that we are covered for. I always say, if you're going to be good at money, if you're going to be money savvy and you're going to have personal finance on a lockdown, make sure that when there is an economic interruption, like what is happening right now, you are actually covered. So I think everybody should be sitting at home right now, going through their life and playing with those scenarios, because they're doom and gloom. What if you die today? Do you have a will?
Yeah.
You know? Do you have life insurance to cover you if you were to die today, to cover those who you're leaving behind? If you lose your job, do you have credit insurance? Do you have income protector? Can you perhaps go back to your bank and restructure your loans? So those are the things that I think people should be looking at.
Nicolette, with the hard questions that need to be asked regardless, let's all go back and read the fine print in everything that we sign, because who knows, help could be closer than what we realize. Nicolette, thanks again for sharing your knowledge and insights with us.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Mwah! Enjoy the rest of your evening. Now, coming up on the show, we catch up with Mrs. South Africa 2019 and proud mom Matapa Malia. And plus, we have more quick and easy lockdown recipes to share that I'm excited to share with you. So stay right there.
Tonight at 7:30 on Tropica Island of Treasure, Curacao. It's a battle for survival as 4 teams become 3.
We know exactly what we need to fight for.
Just when we thought this was hard enough.
Wow.
Push me! Push me!
Stop! Get out!
It's going to be a nightmare.
It's a delicate balance as teams battle their way through challenges to avoid elimination on Tropica Island of Treasure, Curacao. That's Tropica Island of Treasure, Curacao, tonight at 7:30 on SABC3. The stage is yours.
Welcome back to the second episode of the special lockdown edition of Afternoon Express. Now in 2019, Matapa Maila was crowned Mrs. SA 2019. And later on in the year, she wowed the entire world, placing second in the Mrs. World pageant. She joins us live from the comfort of her own living room to share more about her life in lockdown and how she's been juggling being a mom and a woman in the corporate world. Matapa, welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you for having me.
Now we all have to find out, rewriting our stories is what the narrative is right now, and restructuring our daily routine. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, none of us were ready. So how have you and your family just adapted to this new way of living?
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw it coming, and it's a new terrain that we're all navigating through. There's no manual as to how you need to go about it. I think the beauty about it is we are all new to it. So it's just a matter of adapting as you go along. And the most important thing is to keep an open mind, be flexible in your approach, and have the appetite to relearn what you thought you knew, because clearly we're rewriting the rules of engagement. So I think that has worked for me, just being flexible, keeping an open mind, and literally being teachable.
It sounds a lot easier said than done. I mean, when you get so used to having a daily routine, everything just gets chucked out the window. But we're so grateful for level 4 because now we're able to, bend, shape and slowly get back to normal living as we still #stay home. Now, Matapa, you gained quite a platform when you received the title of Mrs. SA in 2019. Now, how are you using your platform to help others during these uncertain times?
The platform has been amazing, and it comes with a whole lot of responsibility. So currently I'm endorsing 2 amazing gentlemen on their initiatives as they also try to do their part through this whole COVID-19 pandemic. One of them being Straight Talk with Nolan. He's trying to raise funds for the Good Deeds Foundation. So please, guys, do head over to his Instagram page and see how you can play your part. The other one being Kolani. He's also trying to raise funds and awareness around Stay Sanitized South Africa. So it's important for all of us really to pull our weight and to do our bit and to do our part, So hence I'm endorsing these 2 amazing gentlemen. But over and above that, I think people who know me well enough will tell you that I'm very passionate and I advocate for equality in education, especially in remote areas. And I think what COVID has done, especially the lockdown, it has forced us to have uncomfortable conversations. And one of those conversations is around opening the digital world to kids, especially those who are not as privileged as those that have data and iPads and all of that, because truly we don't want to leave them behind. If you think about it, artificial wisdom, technology, and all of that is part and parcel of what our culture has become. So it's important to onboard everybody and not leave anyone behind. So we should have had these conversations a while back, but I think the best time to have it is rather now rather than later. So those are some of the hard conversations we're having.
Absolutely. I mean, you've already touched on 2 incredible organizations that you are championing. And if you want to get stuck into whether Kolani's or any of the other organizations that Matapa has touched on, do head over to Afternoon Express's website and you can have all of the details there. So thank you so much. I mean, you've already spoken about education and you've opened that conversation, which is so vast. It's very, very heavy. You yourself have become a teacher overnight as you have to homeschool your 6-year-old. Now, how are you finding this? And what's most challenging about homeschooling?
I must say, up to date, that has been the most humbling experience, one which I was not geared up for, nor do I have the temperament for it. I think my patience has been tested to the limit. I don't enjoy it much. But it's just one of those things that you have to hit the ground running. It has to be done. And the biggest challenge is time management. I mean, the same time that she has to log on to her class activities is the same time that I need to also log on for my work activities. So you're continuously having competing priorities, and it's a struggle with no solution up to now. It's just a matter of trying to be all at the same time, and it's hard, and it's not a unique struggle to me. But it's not all doom and gloom. I think what distance learning has introduced and propagated is independency. Kids have to learn to be independent and also demonstrate leadership skills from a very young age, because now suddenly the school deliverables is up to them, So there's an upside to it all. And to be quite honest, I think that's the new way of doing things. Even after the lockdown, even after the pandemic is over, I think to an extent it has become the new way of learning.
Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of South African parents right now are like, relatable. But I'm loving the fact that you're pushing past what you find are your limitations, which is like patience and just breaking those boundaries and allowing your child to be the independent individual that they are, which we appreciate. Now, I have to find out as well, a lot of people are challenged with this, and I know I went through the most during level 5. What are you doing to stay sane and positive during the lockdown?
I think we need a temperature gauge to check if I'm still sane. It's trying times. It's truly trying times. But I've introduced Pilates actually into my routine, something completely new for me. Thank goodness for my coach, Shakira. She's very patient with onboarding me because I've never done Pilates before. But I find that is my stress reliever. And I've also jumped on the bandwagon. Everybody's baking, so I didn't want to be left behind. So I jumped onto the bandwagon of baking. Who knew I had hidden talents as far as baking is concerned, So now I can hold my own in the kitchen.
Yes.
Literally, the cookbooks you can think of, Lazy Makoti being one of my favorite, is a permanent fixture in my kitchen.
She is a sister of the show.
But I think more than anything is creating institutional memories with your family around the kitchen counter and just being present and taking it all in, because I think we sometimes caught up in the red race, we don't have a moment to just pause and take it in. And I think this period has forced all of us to reflect, to be present, and to analyze what matters the most and to see what we need versus what we want. So it has been a challenge, yes, but it has some benefits to it as well.
Absolutely beautiful. And I took that invitation, girl. Matapa, I will be visiting you when this is all over for some banana bread. Is that a deal?
It's a deal. You got it, girl.
Yes, finally. You've already touched on some advice and words of wisdom for South Africans during this time. But any last words?
I think let's be kind to ourselves. We're not superheroes. There are days where bathing becomes a mission because there's just so much to get done. And there are days where you can put your best foot forward, like today, I tried. But I'm just saying, take it as it comes. Don't be too hard on yourself. This is all new for all of us. And let's stand united. And one thing I appreciate about our country is our resilient spirit. This will pass at some point, but don't forget to lend a helping hand, because now more than ever, we need to be for each other. We need to be there for each other. And if you have a little something that you can share with your next door neighbor, your gardener, your helper, please do so.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. You've said that almost as beautifully as you look. And that dress, honey, you've definitely proven that today was your good showering day. Siyabonga, Siswam. You are incredible. You've got such a beautiful family. And we're just sending all of our Afternoon Express goodness to your household.
Thank you very much. I receive it. It has been a pleasure spending time with you.
Yeah.
And literally just, you got me into the shower today, so tick on my to-do list.
Yes, 2 showers! For all working moms and dads out there, remember that you are not alone during these trying times. Matapa, again, thank you for sharing your story with us and keeping the good work that you're doing. We are watching and cheering for you every day.
Thank you very much. Truly appreciate it.
Olive Pride brings a touch of pride and the natural beauty of olive oil to your table. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, and we trust that you're having a fantastic Tuesday afternoon. Now, because we can't travel doesn't mean we can't explore the foods of other nations. Nasi goreng is a spicy Indonesian fried rice dish easily made with leftover rice and a few vegetables for a quick and healthy meal. Just a touch of pride can save some time and money and prevent food wastage with this yummy anything goes meal. Now, Anal, that sounds just like what I love. Anything goes. There are no rules.
There's no rules. So what happened today, I went to our fridge, I opened it up, and I thought, what am I going to cook for us today?
I like that.
So I decided nasi goreng.
What's a nasi goreng?
It's a fried...
Mina bengithi nasi.
It's not nasi. It is a fried rice. So you can use any fried rice, rice that you've got left over of last night, and any veggies that you've got. So if I had, let me just start the recipe. I'm going to add some of this beautiful olive pride, seed in olive oil. It's perfect for frying and baking. So I'm going to, some onions. Always you start with the onions, Pali. Always onions. Yes.
Why?
Onions, garlic.
Flavor.
Garlic, flavor. We put it in here. You're going to add some chilies.
So what about children? A lot of children don't like spicy food.
You just omit it. No chilies. But I like it hot, lady. I like it hot.
Just like me.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
This sounds delicious here. You also have some eggs here because this is an fried rice recipe, essentially.
Yeah, you normally use like seafood. Can you use of leftover meat? But I want you to start with the eggs because we're going to put an egg on top of it.
Oh,
good protein.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to add some carrots that I found in the fridge. And people can use any veggies in the fridge. If you've got broccoli, cauliflower that we used last night, you can add it in. I just cut it up small. Jy's baie goed, hoor. You're very good.
I love my eggs. I take them so seriously.
Look at that. That's like picture perfect, woman.
Don't jinx me right now, Enal. It's only day 2 of our special lockdown edition. So, you know, we still have a long way to go.
So impressed.
This looks really, really good, Anal. So this is essentially just an Indonesian dish that you take whatever you already have in your kitchen. I mean, earlier we were speaking to Nicolette about food wastage and not spending a lot of money in the grocery shop. So this is the perfect recipe to go hand in hand with that.
Exactly. So whatever you've got in your fridge, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, you add it.
Okay.
I want to add a bit more of this oil. It needs it.
I love
this oil because it's got like a perfect balance of a bit of olive oil and seed oil. And it just adds that little tang of olive flavour that I want. Oh, I'm going to get fancy like restaurants now.
And I'm going to take several steps back.
It smells amazing.
And it looks even better too, Anal. What's that?
Soya sauce. So that is normally... Soya sauce is perfect for you. Need that umami flavour. But if you don't have soya sauce, you can use stock, a bit of stock. It needs that saltiness in the dish.
I like that. That sounds absolutely perfect to me.
Molly, we're nearly done. Now I've got this fluffy basmati rice. But if you've just cooked normal rice last night, you can also add that. Sunny side up. I love it.
And now is setting me up for failure here. I had a beautiful sunny side up kanda. Your ikanda lamb was looking so good. I flipped it over and then she says, sunny side up. But luckily, and now I will grace you with the one that is sunny side up and I'll take the one that I flipped over.
Cool. I'm happy. So remember, if you add soya sauce to a dish, don't add extra salt.
Okay.
Because it's very salty already. But I'm going to have a pinch of pepper in here, just for good luck.
Love that.
Love that.
Okay.
And now, some peanuts, some monkey nuts.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah. You always, they serve chicken with satay sauces. So we're just bringing that nuts in here.
Stunning. I mean, the other day I tried a dish. There was a pasta dish and a stir-fry pasta dish, and I put some cashew nuts in it. And surprisingly, South Africa, Bali ain't too bad in the kitchen.
Oh, wow. I can see that. You're our next, what shall I call you? Master
I was going to say, don't come for me. Utumi is going to kill me. Tumi, I miss you, girlfriend. Okay, so let's play
this is done. Look at this. Look at this. How quickly we did this.
2 seconds.
So I'm going to put a bit of this over here. Oh, hy's bietjie swaar. Oh, hy's baie swaar.
Very hot. Don't burn yourself.
Ja, ek gaan dit net so klein bietjie daarin gooi.
Okay.
Oh, it looks delicious.
And you just
Smells
want to put that
divine.
all in there. Just put it in the middle there so that
So
we
you
don't
put
touch
the
each
egg on
other.
top of that.
Okay.
And then I will finish it up. Oh, yumcious.
Looks good, South Africa.
Look at that.
I mean, South Africa, we are clean, our hands are tidy, and we have made a mess in the kitchen. But that does not worry us because it's going to taste and look so good in our stomachs. And
Are we going to eat?
South Africa, this looks so, so good. Well done.
Pleasure.
Now we can wrap it up right there. Thank you so much. And now you've
Pleasure.
helped me so much in this kitchen. And I'm definitely going to be enjoying this. Now, can you believe that tomorrow is our 5th birthday here on Afternoon Express? It's a birthday. And we're going to be celebrating. We have 3 incredible South Africans that have been part of South African history, that have been part of Afternoon Express's history. We have got Queen of the Universe, Zosbini Tunzi, former Afternoon Express presenter, Omugel Bonang Matebe, and of course, the ever-dynamic Kelly Kumalo. Thank you so much for joining us in the loft. See you again tomorrow. Good night. God bless Mzansi and happy eating. It's a birthday. Hi. Happy birthday.
Hey, woo!
Olive Pride brings a touch of pride and the natural beauty of olive oil to your table. Made with love by Clover.
Afternoon Express. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.